Hey, it's your boy Crispa, aka Chris on the mic with my co-host,
Daniel, what is up, everybody?
and we have a hell of a news today. Starting with Triple H has retired from wrestling forever.
Yeah, the game
Yeah,
is over. Oh my god. Okay, no. So let's actually discuss this.
yeah.
Yeah, Triple H, unfortunately, one of the greatest wrestlers, if not the greatest wrestler to ever step foot in a ring, has indeed retired. Ever. I'll go that far. I'll die on that hill, actually. And he has one of the best catalogs of any wrestler ever. And I'd say besides Shawn Michaels and maybe Bret Hart, he'll go down as wrestling's biggest influence of all time.
He is
So,
literally the game.
exactly. He is really the only one that has fought, decades upon decades worth of top tier talent. So it's really an impressive landmark to think about, Yeah, so why is Triple H retiring? If anybody is wondering, well, basically, this is very unfortunate. He had a cardiac event or suffered from a cardiac event back in September that left him to be hospital and caused him to step back from the behind the scenes roles in WWE, like running NXT. And after months of silence, on March 25th, due to his heart condition, as he's been told by doctors, it will never be safe for him to wrestle another match. So, yeah, his last official match televised was actually against Randy Orton, which is actually perfect.
It's the greatest send-off. He couldn't get a better opponent for his last match before his retirement. Until Vince
Yep.
McMahon says no.
Saudi money. Nah, I don't think he's gonna bring him in. No, I don't see it. So, yeah, I just have to say, if it wasn't for Triple H, the golden days from NXT would have never happened. If it wasn't for Triple H, many, many amazing memories and matches from the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, even fucking PG era, for all I care. All of those matches and memories, I am very thankful to have witnessed from Triple H.
So he'll be in our hearts forever. And I know we're acting like he died, but he didn't. He's just retiring with all his money.
But I will say this. This year, The Undertaker, which we'll get to later on this podcast, is headlining the Hall of Fame. This year, I think it's very clear who we have headline next year.
Oh, is he the page?
Well, yeah, that's all I can really say. We are going to, within these next 2 weeks, release a top 10 Triple H matches of all time and be discussing that. And yeah, that'll be a fun video in the future to look out for.
So you keep watching our content, and then you give us the money, and then we don't have to work anymore. Thanks. But
Yeah,
anywho,
just whatever y'all can do to get my co-host Weasel to shut his mouth.
no. Donate to our Patreon that we don't have. But
yes.
anywho, on to the AEW 330-22 review.
Okay, yeah, so I thought this was better than last week's episode. I thought it was really good. It had its issues though, but every episode's gonna have its issues, let's be honest. But yeah, as an overall episode, pretty good. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, it's definitely worth your time. There are some problems with the segments and a couple of matches we'll get into. Well, mostly just one, if I'm being honest. But we'll discuss it later as we go down the list. But overall, it's fun. It's worth your time. Go watch it.
Yep. So, where do we begin the show with? Oh yeah, that's right. CM Punk versus Max Caster. So, we kick things off. CM Punk does his little entrance, of course, comes out to a huge pop. But then we get to Max Caster, who basically does his typical freestyle. But in this freestyle, he made a reference to Will Smith slapping the taste out of Chris Rock. That's what the article said. I'm not actually saying he slapped the taste out of Chris Rock.
I'm not reading this from a script. I
I'm not.
swear.
Yeah, we're not bringing that Will Smith Chris Rock thing into argument today, ladies and gentlemen. We're not discussing that shit.
No.
But
next time, no, I'm just kidding.
The hottest WrestleMania match out there right now is Will Smith versus Chris Rock. But no. If you want brief thoughts, I feel bad for Chris Rock. That was taken a bit far. But yeah. Anyways, back to the point. Max Caster's rap was about Will Smith. He also referenced the time that Punk shit himself.
Yes, you do.
So,
that's your hero? That's your champ internet? PG Punk? I don't think so.
So back in 2013, this was the last year Punk wrestled for WWE, and by this point, he was not getting properly taken care of by doctors. And it was on SmackDown, a match against Dean Ambrose, and flat out in the middle of the ring, he shit his pants.
See, that just proves to you that Jon Moxley's the best.
There was like a stain. there was like a stain through his wrestling gear you could see, but that was really it. But yeah, Ambrose and Punk just did whatever they could to finish the match after that happened.
You should have finished wiping. That's what he should have done.
Oh my God.
But what are your thoughts on the match? To get back into the topic.
So, yeah, CM Punk beat his ass in less than 5 minutes. Max barely got any offense in. Yes, more of this, please, especially if we're trying to establish Punk as the next champion. Since it was short, sweet, simple, and proved the point without being given a lot of time, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10.
This man, I will always fight with Daniel on this issue, but I am so tired of CM Punk, and this match was a 5 at best.
Okay.
Like all of his other matches, except for Darby Allin. And I'm just kidding. And MJF. But that's because MJF was...
And Eddie Kingston. And Dax Harwood last week.
No, we don't talk about that, dude. No.
Tripping. My guy tripping. But since you are such a CM Punk hater, I'll counteract that and say, I remember in the beginning few matches, Punk came back. I will admit he did come back rusty. And, it was a bit concerning for me at first. But now he has clearly been a lot cleaner with his original moves from back in the day. And in the ring, he just seems to be a lot more comfortable with the ring, I guess you could say. Gotcha. So, and I sense that when I watch him now. And then, after the match, he had his little interview, stated the obvious, but Punk, in my opinion, of course, he's one of the greatest promo cutters of all time, and it doesn't matter whether he faces Adam Cole or Adam Page. I know what we're going to get is good.
We're going to get a pop-off, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, and I forgot to mention another thing Max Caster said in his freestyle. He called CM Punk the voice of the moist. So,
moist.
Yeah, there was that one.
That was fire.
Yes, exactly. Big fire from Max Caster. But yeah, so you weren't feeling the Punk match. You thought it was average. That's fine.
It's average at best, but that's just me hating on Punk.
Okay. Next, we go to MJF going out, putting signs literally everywhere throughout the AEW arena to ban Wardlow and make sure he doesn't get his hands on him. And this progresses more throughout the show. Next up, this was great. Jon Moxley versus Jay Lethal. What are your thoughts on?
Can I just say that I'm so glad that Jay Lethal's getting the push now. He's finally going on the big television, and Jesus Christ, like, I don't like slow burner matches for the life of me, but this is the one time I could tolerate this, because from every moment I was on my seat rooting for my boy Jay Lethal. And I know the obvious is Jon Moxley is going to take the victory, but goddamn.
No, yeah, they definitely made it look like Lethal could have won from time to time again. This was definitely, in my opinion, the best match of the show. There were other great matches, I'm not going to deny it, but this was just great, man.
Damn, and we're torn on this too, because there's a match that I think was better than this one. But overall, this was definitely a banger too.
But yeah, man, Jay Lethal. If they do plan on utilizing him more, then shit, he does put on some really good matches. He's able to put on really good promos. I didn't mention it last week. I'm going to mention it this week. My boy has some allegations to beat first.
He's got to beat the world title first, man. Then he can find the allegations. It's fine.
Oh, hell no.
Dude, Darby did it. He could do it too.
Honestly, there were really no major allegations against Darby Allin, though. That's the big difference here.
True. But we'll see what happens. I don't want to get into this fucking rat thing and get canceled on fucking Twitter because of this shit. Did you hear what the fucking Powerball boy said?
Nobody's watching us. It's okay.
No, we got 5 subscribers. Don't you fucking diss our fans.
All right, shit. I'll back off.
I will die for those fans.
You'll die for all 20 of those viewers last week.
God
yeah,
damn it.
8.5. What do you give it?
It's getting an 8, man. An 8.
All right. Next up, oh boy, FTR versus Ass Boys.
Oh my god. You know what? You should I go first, or do you want to go first on this fucking match?
Do you have a lot to say?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I completely forgot that this match happened because I was watching this match and I fell asleep because that's how forgettable this match was compared to everything else.
I can't knock you for it. The only major thing that happened in the match is, Billy Gunn nearly knocked out one of the members of FTR with a stiff ass elbow on the outside. That was insane. But outside of that spot, the match was very much, it was decent. It was whatever. But it was skippable, to say the least.
And sleepable too.
But also Wardlow, going through security guard after security guard during the match was actually more eventful than the match itself.
Damn, the fucking storytelling. See, Warlord is the best wrestler in this goddamn company.
I was gonna say is I kind of like how FTR don't really want anything to do with this MJF and Wardlow thing.
Exactly. They're just doing their own thing, and they're just like, "Hey, man, I just want the tag team belts."
We'll get to something very interesting they did later on in the show, but yeah, they beat Ass Boys, plain simple. Next up, we got the Jericho Appreciation Society beating the ever living hell out of a returning Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz.
Oh my god. I just have to say, I kind of felt this beatdown went a little too far, like minute-wise.
Oh, like, you mean this went too long? They could have got the job done in less time.
Dude, this felt like this should have just become a match. And I know they're going to do it eventually, but this went on way too fucking long. I'm like, dude, come on, I get it. Chris Jericho being evil, beating Eddie Kingston and the boys. And I'm just like, I get it. Stop. Like, I don't believe your fake fucking punches, and you're not even hitting them with the bat. It's so obvious. God damn it.
What I was going to say, though, was I liked for the fight how in the first half of it, it was like Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz staying on top, and you were thinking, oh, okay, the good guys are just going to get their revenge this week. And then we were kind of caught off guard a bit, and I was like, oh, shit, never mind. And honestly, that was the only really big compliment I could give this segment is that it kind of took me off guard. But yeah, I get you. I get that complaint. I didn't have an issue with the segment, but the beatdown could have definitely had more of a punch behind it. That's for sure.
Unlike Chris Jericho, because you can't punch for shit.
So, yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about that. Do you?
No, I said what I had to say, man.
All right, next up, Bryan Danielson versus Wheeler Yuta. This was another great match on this show.
Yes, indeed, man. And I have to say, this has to be match of the night. This was so fucking good, dude. Wheeler Yuta
this was great.
Doing everything he could have done possibly to make this match work, and it was going in his favor so well. He put on such a good show, and I think it was way better than the Jon Moxley match. If I'm being honest.
If I'm telling you the truth, it's also like Yuta's working against Bryan Danielson, one of the greatest of all time.
That's true, but don't
So
sleep on Yuta.
it's also, you know, it wasn't like Yuta carried him by any means here. But
Yeah,
yeah, it was a great match for sure. And Yuta definitely might have been his most impressive performance to date. So I think it's an 8 out of 10. What about you?
dude. At first, I was gonna give it a 8.5, but now rewatching it now, it's definitely gonna be a 9 for me.
A 9? Ah, for sure. That's pretty high. All right. Nothing wrong with that. All right. So the next thing on this show was the Undisputed Elite segment. I'm just gonna be straight up. Besides the Cowboy Tesla, I could have cared less. And I just have to say it. Twitter need to get off on the Undisputed Era's dick.
You can hate them that much.
These guys are not as good as everyone puts them out to be. They're not. They're great, don't get me wrong. They're incredible, but we have this division of Punk, Bryan, and you're telling me we should be putting the belt on Adam Cole.
But it's Adam Cole, dude. He's the favorite of the crowd.
And like, as for Red Dragon, it's like you guys have put on a banger here or there, but besides that, what the fuck else have they done to warrant a tag team title run in the company so far?
Oh, because Adam Cole said so.
Like I said, we talked about it more in the underrated AEW X. This spot could very well be going to House of Black instead.
That's true.
And they could be mentally deteriorating the Cowboy right now. We could be doing that story, but nah.
Nah.
But I will say this: I don't hate the Undisputed Elite. I like them. I think it's just the overexposure of them at this rate, because I feel like I see them literally not just on Dynamite but Rampage every single goddamn week. It's honestly starting to become too much.
I don't even know why Tony Khan's pushing them so much. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, at first it was
It's
cool.
because Twitter loves them, like loves them.
I guess.
And for what?
Oh, because they've been cool.
I mean, if the main event is Cole versus Punk, then great. But yeah, this was kind of a forgettable segment for me personally. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's always a forgettable segment with these guys, dude. Just
Yeah.
like, why is it Adam Cole talking? Let Adam Cole talk.
Well, it was funny seeing Kyle act like an idiot this week, but that was really it.
Meh.
So, yeah, exactly. Like, just get the Adam Cole Adam Page match done, please. Like, I thought they had an amazing match at Revolution, but I just feel like that's where it should have ended.
Exactly. But anywho,
Next, we're not gonna. These next few segments were actually really good. Thunder Rosa's promo, possibly one of the best promos in AEW.
It was too good, man. Just everything she said on the mic was just cut to the heart. It was too good, man. Way too good. I was like, all right, Rosa, now I see why you're the champion. Not only because of your great wrestling skills, because you're great on the mic too.
Yeah, Thunder Rosa is honestly one of the best women's wrestlers in the whole world. It really is between her, Sasha, and Bianca for that spot, in my opinion, at this rate. But yeah, there's really nothing more I could say about that. FTR calls out the Young Bucks for a second match. Fuck yeah. FTR Young Bucks 2. That's what's good. FTR need to win this, though.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, the Super Kick needs this, dude. They already lost the last pay-per-view. They need to come back.
Dude, they're always going to be on top. Let's be real here. FTR aren't like that.
Dude, they have the belts in the Mexico that no one cares about.
And they're about to win the ROH ones.
I'm so excited. You're going for the boys. I'm going for the real men, the Young Bucks.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see when we get to that date, son. All right. Now you're about to shit all over this. So I'm gonna let you kind of go off before I go off.
So
Toni
Toni,
Storm in her debut match, and she debuted in the Owen Hart qualifier against the Bunny.
let me just get it out of this way. The Bunny did so good in this match. She was killing it from the moment she stepped in the ring. And most of the time, I just sleep on her matches, but this is like the one time where she went like 100%, and it was good up until the ending. And you know why, Daniel. I really have a big problem with finishers ruining matches. It's so cheap and it's annoying because Toni did not need to win that match. She was getting her ass kicked, and maybe that's the booking
Well,
decision on Tony Khan. But I feel like the Bunny should have won that because she did way better than Toni Storm, and I was not impressed at all by her debut.
I will say this,
Facts.
right? Toni Storm definitely was not given the best debut possible here. They had Keith Lee come in, look like a monster. I don't get why Toni Storm couldn't get at least enough of a decent showing for her first match. Yeah, Toni Storm's a brilliant, brilliant talent. I have nothing else to say about that. Chris hasn't seen any of Toni Storm's work outside of AEW, and this is his introduction to her. And I will say this was definitely not the greatest introduction you could have gotten
This was
to Toni Storm.
mid.
But with that being said, Toni Storm is an absolute must needed acquisition for the AEW women's roster. I honestly think AEW are at that point right now where they need to focus more on the women than the men, and I'm glad to see that they're kind of doing that with Toni Storm first before anybody. Athena needs to be signed. That is a necessity. But yeah, if you can get Athena in there too, then we're talking. Then we're talking.
Big talk.
So, yeah, honestly, this match felt like Toni Storm was John Cena, where she was just taking a bunch of damage and hits a finisher and wins.
You mean like CM Punk? Like all the time?
Dude,
Oh,
you have never seen John Cena matches, have you?
I saw a John Cena match live, sir, with you.
Ooh.
SummerSlam and Roman Reigns. But we're not going to talk about that today.
Exactly. Cena got his ass kicked and only had his finishers that hit.
No.
But besides that, what do you give this match? I give it a 6 out of 10. It was decent showing from the Bunny. But yeah, hopefully they do better with Toni Storm in the future.
It's going to be a 6. Originally, it was going to be, honestly, like a 7.5. But after that finisher, it kind of just killed it for me. I'm like, oh, straight to the 6 you go.
Now, Nyla Rose cut a decent little promo. I'm not going to complain about that whatsoever. I actually have to admit here, Thunder Rose's promo got me engaged with this feud with her and Nyla Rose. After that promo, I was like, all right, maybe this feud can be good.
Maybe.
We shall see how it all works out, though. Now, I know we may have covered Dynamite quicker than last week, which is hilarious because we were actually trying to do a quick review last week, but this week sounds like a quick review, if anything. Anyways, the main event here, Darby Allin, Andrade. Okay, I have to say it. AEW, you're doing my boy Darby really dirty right now, and I'm not appreciating it.
Nah, dude. Darby's always been a loser.
No.
Yeah.
After Darby lost the TNT title, he was on his way to probably getting that AEW title. Like it was bound. And then Punk debuted, and ever since Punk debuted, this dude's been on a fucking downward spiral.
Nah. He's mid at best. I mean, he has his matches, but dude.
He lost to Punk. He lost to MJF.
As he should.
He lost.
He likes losing.
To freaking Sammy Guevara.
That's his
now
character.
To Andrade.
That's
no,
his character.
He's not a loser.
That's his
no,
character.
He's not.
He likes pain.
He's not a loser.
Well, I'll say that to his win-loss.
You know what? Let me look at his win-loss record. Fucker.
Okay, Excalibur. Go be a fucking nerd and go to your dictionary full of wrestlers. Oh my god, the Piledriver.
Yeah. Nah, son. Next time we go to the gym, I'm beating your ass.
Pause.
All right, yeah, you're right. Pause.
But but this match was great. You have to admit, Darby Allin's little ollie on Andrade's back was great. But there is no way Darby is beating Andrade. I don't believe that for a fact.
That's
Can't tell me
bullshit.
otherwise. There is no way.
No, that's bullshit. Rey Mysterio beat Andrade.
Yeah, but Rey Mysterio is lit. Darby is just Sans from Undertale.
Oh.
Dude, Machine Gun Kelly vibes, dude. Come on.
Machine Gun Kelly vibes. That couldn't be so far from the truth.
He's just the emo boy, dude.
Okay, 53 wins and 15 losses.
Okay, and
that's good. That's no loser, you bitch.
I bet that's all from dark matches, anyways. Oh,
nah, you don't know what you're on about.
Besides, he's Sting.
But all right, yeah, this was a great match. I guess Andrade did need some sort of credible win as well here. Yeah, it's fine. I'd give the match an 8. I thought it was great. I can't really say anything else that hasn't been said about this match, really.
I just love the fact that Darby got fucking tossed around like a puppet. It's so big. Andrade needs to be the next AEW World Champion. He's so good.
I was thinking TNT or legs. Yeah.
No, you're crazy. That theme goes hard. That theme is lit. At him and his wrestling style.
You know what? He is technically a reason for one of the best NXT matches of all time when he fought Gargano like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So Andrade, honestly, I like Andrade. I like Andrade a lot, and him winning a main event on Dynamite is does pretty good for him, for sure. And then we actually ended it off with a brawl, but the Hardys stood tall.
That's the shit.
Hardys ending off Dynamite sounds about right. Nothing wrong with that either. Yeah, so like I said, pretty good show. I give it a 7.5.
And then I'll give it an 8.
All right, so that was our AEW Dynamite review. Like I said, we definitely covered that in less time than I thought we would. But yeah, now we can talk about other things. So I'm going to be saying or letting you guys know this. So will we be talking about Ring of Honor? Well, there is a show this weekend, Supercard of Honor, and I will actually be checking it out. Not instantly, because there's just a lot of wrestling that weekend as a whole.
Nah, you telling me there's something better than ROH this weekend, bro?
I mean, yeah, AEW and WWE are also on this weekend, so it's hard for me to check it out as soon as possible. But trust me, once ROH has like weekly television shows once again, ran under Tony Khan, trust me, we will be talking about it. That is for damn sure.
And I will definitely watch it because I'm not too familiar with Ring of Honor, but I've seen a couple of matches when Daniel here got me started into wrestling once again and found the passion.
And Ring of Honor is to credit for so many things we have in the wrestling world today. So I am very excited to see what Tony Khan's Ring of Honor has to offer. It's a good little card. We're not going to go into any predictions or anything, but like I said, I'll be buying the pay-per-view. I'll be watching it, and I'll be covering it probably next week on the podcast.
Yeah.
But as for that is that. We can't really say too much more about Ring of Honor. Now, NXT 2.0. Will we be talking about NXT 2.0? Here's the deal, right? For what NXT 2.0 is, the reason why this revamp happened was to, instead of having people in their mid to older 30s being the main event scene on NXT, they wanted younger people in their 20s. And they wanted basically NXT to be what it was back then, building up the future, but in a more literal way. So we've kind of seen that a little bit with the likes of Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, but they've been very hypocritical on that time and time again. Dolph Ziggler and Mandy Rose, two main roster wrestlers who are probably both almost in their 40s. Ziggler is in his 40s.
Don't hate on him
As
because
the
age,
NXT
dude.
champions. Here's the deal, right? I didn't care about the age in NXT until they forced us to care about it. And that's the thing, right? NXT used to be fun. It used to be one of the best wrestling shows in the world. And like I said, it's not ran by Triple H anymore. And since it hasn't been ran by Triple H anymore, it has not had the same impact or significance. The only thing I could give credit for 2.0 is that it is more, I guess you could say, literal in terms of who actually is going to be the future for our company, which is a very, very good thing. But in terms of being an overall entertaining 2-hour show we watch every week, that's just not going to happen.
This is going to be like once in a hot moon.
We will be checking out the NXT special Peacock events. We will be reviewing Stand and Deliver next week, which is also going to be Ciampa's last NXT match. So that show is going to be special in general. But outside of that, we're not really talking too much 2.0. Nah. So sorry to burst any of the NXT fans' bubbles with that one.
They're probably in retirement home right now, dude. It's fine.
Right. Yeah. The demographic actually is like 50 plus, more than 50 under, hilariously enough. So now, will we be talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling? Now, I don't have major access to everything that happens every week on New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I will say this. Whenever there are huge matches or special events happening, we will cover them. We will be talking about Windy City in a few weeks, which is going to feature the main event, Moxley versus Ospreay, which is going to be, and this, my personal opinion, one of the best matches 2022 will have to offer.
I'm so excited for it, dude.
And I don't even care what the rest of the card is. I am paying $20 for that match alone. That is how sold I am on Moxley versus Ospreay.
Does Ospreay confirm from AEW?
This is the closest to that so far. Funny enough, but yeah, I'm really hoping this match succeeds. I think it's going to succeed. Come on,
it's gonna be so good, dude. It's gonna be so good. Unless it's chops for 40 minutes, and I'm gonna be sad.
We're not gonna get that, but yeah. So we will be talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling for special matches and special events like that. But I did want to mention real quick. Chris will not be knowing what I'm talking about here, but huge congratulations to Zack Sabre Jr. for winning the New Japan Cup this year. He is scheduled to face Okada within these next few months for the title. And yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. has to win the belt. There's just no question about it. But outside of that, yeah, we'll be reviewing big matches. But that's pretty much it.
Exactly.
And final big question. This is a question Chris can actually contribute to.
Let's go.
So, what is your excitement going into WrestleMania weekend?
I don't know, because I want to say like it 8, but if it's anything like the Royal Rumble thing that happened this year, I'm going to be real sad of giving that high expectation.
They're 0 for 3 so far in terms of premium live events, as they call it, not pay-per-views. Day 1 was a miss. Royal Rumble was a miss. Elimination Chamber was a miss as well.
Shit, Bobby Ashley got fucked up because of it.
But this is what I was going to say. WWE obviously don't give a shit about the show unless if it's WrestleMania, SummerSlam, or a Saudi event. And actually not. I take back the Saudi event one. They just really blew Elimination Chamber. But I will say this. There's been 37 WrestleManias. There have only been 2 that I've ever watched and said, oh, this is fucking horrible. And looking at this card right now, yes, there might be a few filler matches, a few questionable choices. But looking at the show overall, it's just there's no way this is going to be a bad show. It's just not going to happen. The main event is going to be a big deal between Roman and Brock. AJ versus Edge is going to be the wrestling match for the wrestling fans. And Rollins, if it's not Cody, then it'll be a great troll. But if it is Cody, then awesome. Knoxville is going to be incredible. Like, this wrestling show is kind of welcoming to casual fans more than hardcore wrestling fans. But that's okay because we've been getting show after show after show recently, which is just for the wrestling fans. So, not from WWE, but from wrestling in general. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm well aware this is going to be a different wrestling show. And I don't like that the US title and IC title are not on the line here. That is really fucking whack.
It's because they're putting all their bets on Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar to carry the show. I don't know, man.
That's the thing. They're doing a bunch of celebrity matches and stuff. But I don't think they're relying on Roman and Brock to carry the show. Because this is how I see it. Night 1 has the Seth Rollins versus mystery opponent thing. If it ends up being Cody, they go out there, wrestle for 20 minutes, then boom. There's your wrestling match for night 1. And then for night 2, Roman and Brock obviously is like the big attraction kind of fight style match. That's not going to be a wrestling match. That's going to be AJ and Edge.
So ready. Day 2 is going to be so much better than day 1.
So that's what I mean, though. Like, when I look at this show, even if WWE came in trying to make this show bad, I just literally don't think it's possible. I just don't. And who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. But
maybe.
But I don't know. I'm looking into this Mania pretty positively. Because the stories have been way better heading into this Mania than they have been for the past few Manias, for sure. So, yeah, I can say I am somewhat excited for WrestleMania. And we'll be reviewing it as soon as we can after it is over. So, yeah, I don't know. I think WrestleMania is going to be a good show. Not a great one, but a good one.
You never know, man. You never know.
Now, WWE released a new series exclusive on Peacock. And it is basically going through some of the most evil acts in WWE history, in WCW history. So, WWE Evil, season 1 released. And I watched all of it. Chris watched all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you think of it, Chris?
I was originally going to skip on the series because I was like, oh, it's WWE. I'm like, they're not really that well known for their production TV shows, but
they're not well known for it, but they are really fucking good at it.
Sometimes.
When have they failed from a production level?
All their movies they ever made.
Well, that's...
Dude, come on, it's the production team right there. Come on, you can't deny that. Every movie they made, it almost specials.
All right. Have you seen, like, WWE 24 and, like, the documentary? And, like... Yeah, not the actual movies. But I shouldn't have said WWE Productions. That was kind of iffy.
The Marine dude, come on. Hood classic.
But certified hood classic. Yeah. So I thought this show was great. I thought it was a really great show, and it was welcoming to fans outside of wrestling. And if they wanted to kind of get into the lore of it, this would be a pretty cool show to do that. Now, as for the hardcore fans, this doesn't really do anything new for them. But what it does do is basically tell the stories that they know in some form of a unique light. So, well, like Sasha Banks, they had a whole episode kind of regarding the women's revolution on NXT,
which was definitely fun.
And how Eddie Guerrero was a pretty big influence to, you know, her character, same as certain influences like Kanye West and Nicki Minaj. And I could definitely see that in Sasha Banks for sure. So yeah, I thought that was a cool episode. There's also the Miz episode, which is the reality star who became a wrestler story. There was also Hulk Hogan, who went from being Hulkamania, all fruits and vitamins, to NWO and everything. Hollywood Hogan. Then there was also Roman Reigns, which really showed how to blend the lines between real life and the character to make a craft that is really unique and actually insane within the Tribal Chief. And I just have to say it, dude. I am so fucking ready for one of the best title reigns ever with this double champion Roman. I am so ready
you're
for
crazy, dude. It's gonna be Brock. No, you're crazy, dude. It's gonna be Brock.
It's
gonna be Brock, and I can't
not
wait to
gonna
see
be
you
Brock.
cry.
Are we about to do this again?
Yes,
It's not Brock!
you're insane. Why can't it be Brock?
Because Brock ain't winning.
You know what's gonna happen? That the Usos are gonna lose their fucking belts, guarantee it, and then Roman's gonna lose his belt too, and then we're gonna have the Beast come back.
That's ass. I
And
don't
you're
want
not
that.
gonna have your dream match with Dwayne the Rock Johnson versus Roman because it's not happening. Brock's gonna be there.
Heartbreaking.
It's not heartbreaking, dude. It's the truth, and you just can't handle it.
You're right. I can't. You know what? You're not right. It's not the truth. And I will handle the future that is the Tribal Chief beating Brock Lesnar for the title.
But I will give to say that his
For
episode
both titles.
still, but Roman Reigns' episode was great. But when we were discussing this at the gym, you did mention they didn't bring up the topic of Bryan Danielson, so there is a couple censorship things that they didn't mention in the show, which is kind of
they did that. They did that like they did that with every episode almost. I felt like with the Miz, they tried to portray the narrative of how he got under the crowd's skin when he impersonated The Rock, but the truth is he was still considered the absolute glorified afterthought behind John Cena and The Rock's Mania match. So, yeah, they left that part out of the narrative, and they really tried to make Miz look like a top tier villain. But no, you ain't fooling me, WWE. You ain't fooling me.
no.
But yeah, with Roman Reigns, they didn't mention that since Daniel Bryan didn't win, that was a big part of the reason Roman got turned on at Philadelphia in 2015. So, yeah, there are just a few questionable things like that. But yeah, so every episode kind of went through a different time or era in wrestling, you can kind of say. And it was great. But there's one episode that shines above the rest.
And you already know what it is.
The Randy Orton episode. And I am not just saying that because he is my favorite of all time. Randy Orton is incredible. He will go down as a top 10 wrestler to ever do it in the ring. And anyone who can try to argue that, I just won't take you seriously.
Like, go back to the Young Bucks. Nerd.
No, yeah, Randy Orton's the man. That's all I gotta say about it.
Definitely go out of your way to watch the show. It's great. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, it's still pretty good.
Yep. So, yeah, overall series review, I'd give that honestly like probably an 8.5 out of 10.
You know, that's fair. I'll do the same.
All right, sweet. Now, we got to end things off here in a professional way. So we're talking about the Hall of Fame class. And this Hall of Fame class is lethal. Lethal in the sense of every single inductee on this list is absolutely well-deserved. So, the Steiner brothers, who were a tag team back in multiple different wrestling companies, they've won many championships. The Steiner brothers is definitely for the classic fans out there, but it's a well-deserved inductee. And it's a mystery who's inducting them, but I actually have a good idea on what they're going to do here.
What's that?
So the Steiner brothers, one of the Steiner brothers, has a son, Braun Breaker. And you're probably thinking, well, Braun Breaker hasn't even stepped a foot on the main roster before, so how would he be worthy to induct anyone into the Hall of Fame? That's a good question. But I thought of it like this. His original name was Rex Steiner. Right now, he's Braun Breaker. And clearly, people are just not going to get behind Braun Breaker. It's just not going to fucking happen. So, what if he officially changes his name to Braun Steiner?
Oh, that'd be sick. To honor his dad, too.
I think that's the route they're going, and that's the route they need to go here, especially if they want to establish more of a character within Braun Breaker heading into the main roster. So, yeah, that's all I could say about that. Queen Sharmell, inducted by Booker T, who was involved with King Booker in all those days in SmackDown 2006. That'll be fun.
Glory days.
Well deserved. Congratulations, Queen Sharmell, for being in the Hall of Fame. Now, Vader, who was a WF wrestler in the 90s, he had the Vader salt. And Vader in general was just a legend of his time, and he definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He's being inducted by Mick Foley, who was another risk taker, but it all makes sense. So now
The big one.
This is a bit sad. I'm gonna admit, not a bit sad. It's really sad. So one half of Crime Time, a old tag team in the WWE, Shad. He sacrificed himself for his son from drowning 2 years ago, and it was basically an act of not only being a father, but being an inspiration, being a hero to basically put others before yourselves when need be. And yeah, simply put, it's a tragedy.
It is.
Could have never happened, but it happened, and we're here on this day. And he is getting the Warrior Award, and now there is a lot of backlash on the idea that the award should be renamed to the Shad Reward. And I'm not going to get into that too much because I don't want to say anything about the Ultimate Warrior or anyone in general. I just feel like that it's just unnecessary to talk about all that. But what the Warrior Award stands for is simply about being a fighter. The WWF version of the Ultimate Warrior, they kind of characterized him as a superhero, hence why it has always been called the Warrior Award.
Gotcha.
So, so despite whatever you think of the Ultimate Warrior human being, when it comes down to that sentiment, Shad is a warrior, and he deserves an award for it.
And he does, for everything he did, not just in the ring, but for his son too. Because that's really cool. And it's unfortunate he had to go that way.
Yep. Now, this is probably the biggest Hall of Fame inductee of all time. The headliner, The Undertaker. So, damn, man. He's being inducted by Vince McMahon.
As he should. If anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Vince McMahon. He owes The Undertaker everything for that company. Everything.
Undertaker really did sacrifice his life for this company. Yeah, he did. So many people have. It's actually really fucking insane to think about how many people have sacrificed their lives for WWE. Maybe that's not a good thing to put out there. I don't know.
That's cool. We get you.
But yeah, Undertaker, man, the catalog of wrestling matches he has is just Jesus. I don't even know where to begin with that. That's a conversation for a whole nother day. Just like Triple H. But yeah, Undertaker, man, I really can't say anything that nobody else has said,
It's been done to death, but he deserves everything he's got.
Right, like, it's done to death calling him the greatest of all time, but that's kind of how you know he's one of the greatest of all time, if it actually, kind of is done to death. like the only person, in my personal opinion, that is better than the Undertaker in terms of an all-time status is The Rock. That's it. This is probably the second greatest wrestler to ever live. And I'm saying that from an objective standpoint, not a subjective standpoint. Just at least from my personal takes. Whether you look at his mania streak or his dedication to his character, not breaking kayfabe a single time within his 30-year career, while everyone else has at least once. Triple H did, Shawn Michaels did, everyone. Taker never did. He respected the commitment to wrestling more than anyone else I've ever seen. So, Undertaker, I am really happy to see The Undertaker involved and inducted into the Hall of Fame. You can argue that this is overdue, but he did only retire just a year and a half ago.
So
but yeah,
it's a good time.
It's still a good time. Like, it doesn't feel too late. So, yeah, man. Of course, the past, I'd say there have been quite a few bumps in Undertaker's career. Like, I'd say the last 5 years of his career had a few bumps involved. But, yeah, I'd say after, like, he lost to Lesnar, he's had a few bumps, like the Goldberg match, the Roman Reigns match.
About that thing.
But like I said, still going down as one of the best to ever do it, and I am just really happy to see this. So, any last thoughts, Chris?
No, I think we said quite enough.
All right, well, thank you, everybody, for joining us on the Piledriver podcast. I've had a lot of fun here. So, I've been Daniel.
And I've been Chris.
And our next video is going to be a review of WrestleMania 38.
So be ready to give us money because holy shit, whatever happens on Sunday, it's going to be a shit show.
Be ready to give us money. Listen to this dweeb.
It's arguments for 2 hours straight.
Yep. I'm about to rub in his face that
no,
Rock gonna lose. Gonna be lit.
All right.
See y'all next time.
Yeah. See you.